Nope, that wasn't right. Screen sketch, that's what I want. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Oh, I should have gotten rid of that first. Alright, friends, thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. In class on Wednesday, everybody picked an object out of a bag that has something to do with Christmas, and we were going to personify that object and give it human characteristics, human feelings, the ability to talk, the ability to think, ability to move around as best as that object could move around. Like if you have a pencil as your object, well, how would it move around? Probably roll around, right? Or bounce around on its eraser. I have tape. I picked out tape, like a tape dispenser. And my name is going to be Scott because it's a Scotch tape dispenser. So we decided to name me Scott. And how am I going to move? I'm just going to have to slide around. Do I have a family? I gave you guys a list of questions that you could think about to get an idea of what your character is going to be like, what their personality's like, if they have a family, if they have a job, things like that. So where does my story take place? These questions here. Oh, that was a really bad circle. These questions here are, let's see if I can erase that, will help you think about what you want to put in your first paragraph of your story. So the first paragraph is going to be the beginning of your story, and it talks about the setting, which is where and when the story takes place. So you want to think about that before you start writing down anything. Where and when. And when I say when, it doesn't mean like a specific date or specific time. It's mostly just, that would mostly be morning, noon, night, or medieval times, or modern day, things like that. Who is the main character, and other characters. These are just the characters that are in the beginning of the story. You don't want to introduce all of your characters that are in the story in this first paragraph, because that wouldn't make a lot of sense if the character shows up later. So mostly you just want to introduce your main character, give a couple of words to describe what that person or character, not person, but that character is like. Are there any other characters in the beginning of the story? If your character has siblings or a family and they show up at the beginning of the story, this is where you want to write who they are and just give a couple of words to describe what they're like. And then just tell the reader or write down what is going to be happening at the beginning of the story. So this is basically just like a skeleton, the bones of your story. It doesn't have to, you don't have to keep to these ideas. If when you're writing your story you think of something you like better, then certainly change it. You're the author. You have the freedom to do that. So also wanted to say that these questions don't necessarily, you don't have to necessarily use each of these numbers. There's a typo. Each of these numbers, for answering each of these questions, these are just to help you think. So you can take as much space on these lines as you need to write down your ideas. This is just to help you organize what you want to say when you go to write your story. So where is my story going to take place? Since I'm a tape dispenser, I think I'll be in a classroom, and I'm going to write in keywords just to keep it simple. I'm on the teacher's desk, and I'm surrounded by wrapping paper. Okay, and when does the story take place? It's going to be the last day before break, and there's a party going on in the classroom, and Any other background information needed? Well, the kids in the class are going to, they've made gifts for their parents. They're going to wrap the presents in the party, and then they're going to take their presents home to get to their parents, and they're very excited about that. Okay, so who's the main character? Well, that would be me. My name is Scott. And when you go to write your story later, you're going to write in first person narrative. That means you are pretending to be this character. So you're going to write, use the pronouns I and we and us in telling the story. So I'm pretending to be Scott, the tape dispenser. So I'm going to describe myself. I am white, and I'm small, and I have sharp teeth. And my job really is to hold tape and dispense it to people who need it. Okay. I like my job, but I get hungry a lot because tape is like my food. I'm going to write that down. Tape is like my food. And when it's all gone, I'm hungry. That's the only downfall to my job. That, and if my tape gets stuck. Okay, so are there any other characters in the beginning of the story that live on the desktop? That would probably be my friends. Let's see, the stapler, I'll call him Sam. And what else is on the hole punch? Will be my friend. What's a good H name? I'm not sure. I'll think about that. I'll put a question mark. So these are my two friends, and if I want, I can add some more friends I can write on the back if I want. So this is going to be my very first paragraph. I'm going to describe the setting. I'm going to use lots of, when I go to write my paragraph, it's going to have lots of quality adjectives because I'm going to be describing a picture that I want my reader to be able to see. Okay. Now, the second paragraph of your story is where you get into the problem of the story, where your character has a problem. And in my story, the problem is going to be in the form of a human. Okay, there's going to be a boy in the class, and he is he's kind of tape obsessed, actually. He just likes to play with tape, and he always, when I spelled that wrong, sorry. He always comes up and takes more tape than he should, and wastes it. And my worry is that he's going to do that today, and the kids won't have enough tape to wrap their presents for their parents. So I'm worried. So what's the problem? The problem is that the human boy wants the tape, and that I'm worried that all of it is going to be gone, and that the presents can't be wrapped for their parents. All right, so what do the characters want or need? Well, I want to escape the boy, and I'm going to call him, I'm not sure what I'm going to call him yet. I'll come back to that. So now I'm going to talk to my friends, and we're going to make a plan for me to escape this kid. Okay, and so we're going to think about using our powers of whatever it is that we can do as an object. I'm going to try to tape his hands together, or his fingers together. That's going to be my plan. Stapler is going to shoot staples when he comes by, and hole punch is going to pretend like it's snowing to distract him. All right, so see, now I've listed what happens, what I think is going to happen now. I might change my mind about all this when I start writing. I might think of something better. What are the events in order? See, we just want to think about that. When we start writing, if we've already thought about it, that really helps us, get our ideas down so we're not staring at a blank piece of paper. What is the cliffhanger or the last event leading up to the climax? Remember, the climax is the most exciting edge of your seat part of the story. So what is the event that's going to lead up to it? Maybe everything we've tried hasn't worked and he's getting ready to reach first for me and I'm freaking out, and then something happens to save the day. So that would be your the exciting part that kind of leaves you on the edge of your seat. So here, when we go to write our paragraph, this paragraph is going to have lots of strong verbs and lots of detail to make it interesting for the reader, so they can be excited. And then we're going to have lots of feeling words. How am I feeling about this kid? Am I scared? Am I, are my friends brave? I mean, these are all things you want to think about. All right, now I can't on my screen show you the last paragraph, but basically you're going to follow the same kind of format for the third paragraph part of the outline, and that is where you resolve the conflict and you tell what happens to the characters at the end of the story. So I think hopefully this will help you at least get some ideas down, and then on Monday we are going to write in class. We're going to start writing the first paragraph of our story, starting with a really exciting hook at the beginning, and I think these are going to be great stories. All right, I'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend.